Alright, so we're checking out these new ND filters for the DJI Neo. These are from FREEWELL. I've got the standard pack here and the bright day pack. I'll talk about these momentarily. I just do want to sort of mention, I haven't made a special review video on the Neo or anything like that because there's been tons of videos already made. Been flying this for a little over 2 months now. I ordered it the day it came out. And it's $200 with a battery. I ordered an extra battery, so I have 2 batteries. I don't have a controller. I'm just using it with my phone. And of course, you know, you've got all your standard modes in there. You don't have to use the phone at all. You can just press the button and use the follow me mode, spotlight mode, droney, circle, etc. All the standard modes in there already make it a really good value drone just for the $200. And I did make some videos on the Hover Air X1 a while back. This one is way better. It's like half the price, better video. You know, granted, it's still not up to par compared to some of DJI's more expensive drones. You know, obviously, for a $1,000 drone, you're going to get better video, which I would hope. So this is, you got to keep in mind, this is a $200 drone. Now, these ND filters will get you a little bit better, like video in terms of like reducing that sharpness. We'll talk about that here in a second, but I just want to say that if you're on the fence on getting into drones, this comment here is not targeted to people that already have drones or already know how to fly. If you don't have any drones, you're really like kind of interested in drones and maybe you want to get started and looking for sort of an entry point, this is the one to get. Honestly, in terms of value, there's really nothing out there that beats it. And the nice thing about this is it's an entry-level product. It'll get you in the door. You can expand at your own pace. So you can just use the drone by itself as a selfie drone, take it on vacations, and get footage of yourself that way. You can use the phone and control it manually. I'll video on that one later. You can buy a controller and then basically use it as like a camera drone, like their DJI Air and Mini Series, etc. So you can definitely use it that way as well with a controller. Or you can go the FPV route and get the remote controller 3 plus like the goggles N3 and get that FPV immersive experience and then learn how to fly in the standard modes, like, and then also in the manual modes. So you can eventually learn how to fly like manual drones. So it kind of gets you in the door for a very inexpensive price, and then you can expand in whatever direction you want. So if you're thinking about it, I highly recommend it. I'll have other videos on this drone in the future, but if you have questions or comments or something you want to see in terms of content in the future on the DJI Neo, let me know down in the comment section. I'm also planning to get the goggles N3 at some point because those are also very inexpensive, like $230. Really, it's a no-brainer. Got to get that. Got to get that as well. So just want to put that out there. You know, if you feel like there's another way to get into drones that's better than this, by all means, let me know in the comments below. We can debate that down there, but I feel like this is the way to go. Okay, with that out of the way, let's talk about these filters and why you want to get them, and also we'll look at some of the footage here, and also how to use these and get better footage for your DJI Neo. So the main pack that I recommend is the standard pack here. It comes with an ND8, 16, and 32 filter. The polarizing filter, I'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. I'm going to set this aside for now. This is, I think, not really for most people. I think this is going to be a specialty use item, but it's also available. They're both the same price. I think they're both $20, $19.99. You only need the polarizing filters for a very specific use case, and I'll talk about that at the end of the video. This is the one I would recommend getting. You can get the pack that comes with both of them, but I think that for the money, I would just get this one, and this will cover most people's needs. Now it comes in the box, and it comes in this little case here, and you get the 3 filters. There's the 8 and the 16 and the 32. Comes with this little adapter you have to install on the lens. So it looks like this. It's a little metal ring, and then there's some adhesive on the other side. And I already have, they gave you some spares because it's a chance that it might fall off, but I have mine already installed on the Neo. It just goes on the glass there, and I have not had it pop off at all. I know that some people, I've seen some other videos where it has popped off for some people. maybe the lens has been oily, and if you've touched the lens and it's oily, you should probably use some isopropyl alcohol and clean the lens before you apply the ring adapter, just so that the adhesive will work best. But basically, you just grab one of these. It's I think the magnet is actually in the lens part here, and so this is the metal ring on this one side, is the inside, and here is the outside here. This is the ND16. And then after you've installed the magnetic metal adapter there, these just pop on magnetically. So it goes on like that, and they don't come off. I haven't lost any yet. The magnet's actually fairly strong. Since it's so strong that I am a little bit concerned that the adhesive might get pulled off. So I tend to kind of twist it off a little bit like this, so that it doesn't pull straight up. But you can see it just snaps on very easily. And basically that's all you need to do to get this installed. Now, which one to use? So here's my general guideline on which ND filter to use. So I would say for most situations on a sunny day, with maybe no clouds to maybe a little bit of clouds, go with the ND16. As I said, I'm using this, at least for this video, everything is in auto mode out of this drone. I'm not connecting it to a controller. If you connect it to a controller, you do have the ability to go into manual settings and adjust things like your ISO, shutter speed, etc. I am not doing that in this video. You can definitely dial in the video quality a little bit better with the controller, but I'm not going to be doing that for this video. Just some general guidelines on how to use it in auto mode. Now, I would recommend using the ND16 for most sunny situations. ND32, probably only in like situations maybe like where it's got a lot of reflections. Maybe you're skiing, a lot of white snow on the ground, or you're at the beach maybe, and there's a lot of like water and and absolutely no clouds in the sky, so a super bright day. That's where you want to go to the ND32. Otherwise, I find that the shutter speed is a little bit too low in the ND32, and then you get the ISO starts bumping up. So I would avoid this unless you are in a super bright situation. And then the ND8 is probably partly cloudy conditions, and maybe like, not necessarily at sunset or dawn, but maybe a little bit before. It's not quite as bright. You do have to watch that, because if you are in a low light situation and you put an ND8 on there, it's going to get really dark, and your shutter speed and your ISO will go up, and you don't want that. So when the ISO goes up on this one, you get a lot of noise in the video. So the way these ND filters work is that they basically slow down the shutter so that you get a little bit of motion blur and that so-called cinematic look. If you don't have any ND filters on there, you just get basically a very sharp picture, and the default video quality on the Neo, the sharpness is, in my opinion, a little bit too high. And so when you add an ND filter and you add a little bit of motion blur, it does sort of cut down that sharpness just a little bit. So just make it look a little bit better. So I'm showing you here some examples of what the video quality looks like of me, moving my hand in front of the camera with basically no ND filter, and with each of the different ND filters, the 8, 16, and the 32. And as you increase the ND number, the motion blur increases. So you can see my hand here waving as I freeze the image, it gets more blurry, and that's what you want. But there's a point, it's kind of a limit. That's kind of why you don't want to go to the ND32, because it looks almost too blurry. And I think the ND16 is going to be right for most cases. So here's an example of me here moving on a scooter at about 17, 18 miles an hour. And you can see with no ND filter, the image is very sharp, even the grass and the leaves in the tree. When you freeze the video, it's completely frozen, no blurriness at all. And then here it is with the ND16, and you can see in my opinion, a proper amount of blurriness in the grass and in the trees, the leaves of the trees, but you don't see too much blurriness, like just a touch in, say, the cars that are going by, but not a whole lot. Okay, so quick word about the polarizing filters. They got the same numbers, the ND8, 16, and 32, but these are all polarizing. And so the way these work is they will cut down reflections. So if you're pointing at a certain image or trying to look through, like, say, like some windows or whatever, then you'll get basically it'll cut down some of those reflections and you won't see those, although they don't eliminate them completely. Okay, so here's a little demo of how the polarizer works. Depends on the angle that the lens is attached to the camera lens. So you can see at this angle here, it cuts out the, I'm showing my phone screen behind there, it's kind of blacked out. It's, that's what it's doing, it's that polarizing effect is there. But as I rotate the lens, you can see here at this other angle, more light is getting through, and you can see more. So this is the sort of the benefit and the curse of these. These don't really work well in situations where you are moving around at different angles to where the light source is. So here's just an example of me with, I think this is the ND16 polarizer. And as the angle of the light changes as I'm walking around here, you get a lot of shifts in the white balance. Also, the exposure just keeps shifting around as well. And that's because of the angle the light source is changing relative to the polarizer, because the lens is not adjusting to the light source. It's fixed on the drone. Once you attach it to that certain angle, it stays at that angle. So it's only good if you already know where the light source is coming and you're actually flying the drone in a straight line. So for example, if you're flying over, say, some water in a straight line and you've adjusted the polarizing lens to the right angle so that it cuts off those reflections and you just fly in that straight line, then the polarizing filter is going to work well for you. But if you're moving around in different angles, zigzagging back and forth, then your video quality is going to be worse. So it can be a really useful tool if you know how to use it properly. And here's just one last example. I have the polarizing lens, I think it's at the ND16 on here. I'm pointing at my storm door glass, and you can see the reflection of the door in the glass. And as I rotate the lens on the drone, I'm actually hand holding the drone and the lens, and I'm rotating here. You can see how much the door reflection shows up and actually disappears. So at the end of the day, for the $20 for the standard pack, I think it's definitely worth the money. And I think if you do get the controller and you're able to enable the manual settings, you can definitely get even better results than you're seeing here. But if you don't have the controller, you just want to use it to get a little bit better footage in the auto modes, just with the drone by itself or with your phone, then yeah, for the $20, it definitely is well worth it. So put a link down in the video description if you guys want to check it out. That'll do it for this video, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.